Hey, we're out in the shop today and we are working on my favorite new non-scale scale airplane project, the Flying King. So yeah, I'm going to be working a little bit on some of the painting that needs to be done with it. So here we go. Hey, welcome back to the shop. It's really good to see you here again. So as I introduced before, this plane is a non-scale airplane, but I'm going to try to make it look like an actual airplane that served in World War II. So I've got my drawings here, and I've been doing what I need to do to kind of plot out where everything's going to go on it as far as the markings and the paints. And the thing I'm going to work on today is called the invasion stripes. And the invasion stripes were a marking that was put on the plane. It's this part right here. And it was put on the plane so that the other airplanes that were on the same side, the Allied side, they all put these markings on them so that they wouldn't accidentally misidentify them as an enemy airplane. And so this is the invasion stripes have always been one of my favorite things to put on airplanes. So today I'm going to be plotting where they're going to go on this plane. Some go on the wing. Those are pretty straightforward. But there's a little bit of a challenge when you go to put the ones that are on the body. So let's take a look and see what that is. All right, if you take a look at the plane itself when it's resting on the ground, so it's got tail wheel over here, and then it's also got the landing gear back here, the main gear. So when it's sitting in its resting position on the runway or on the ground, what happens is there's an angle here. So the plane, in order to get up to where it's at flying speed and flying level, the back end will raise up, and of course the tail wheel will come off the ground. The markings on this particular plane are set so that when the plane is flying straight and level, those invasion stripes on there are like perfectly up and down, perpendicular to the earth. So that line that it flies, in order to fly, I believe it's called the datum line, and that's what the line of straight, when the plane is flying straight and level, not going up or down in altitude, that's what that line represents and where the attitude of the plane is at that point. So that's what we need to recreate so that we can plot those stripes straight up and down. And it was taking me a while to kind of figure out how I was going to do this, but I figured out a way. So after further investigating the plans and so forth and trying to figure out how to establish this straight datum line, I kind of came up with an idea. You see, this stabilizer back here is actually set at 0, 0 on the body of the airplane. There's no incidence to it. So when the plane is flying straight and level, this incidence will be 0. So all we have to do is make it so that we're going to take this level here and we're going to put it on the plane, on the stabilizer, and all we really need to do to get that straight datum line is to continue up with it until the bubble is level on there. And that represents where the plane is flying in its straight, normal position. So all I have to do is find enough stuff to stick underneath that tail wheel. And I'm going to save you I actually did all the work already to get it up to that height. So I'm not going to make you watch me wander around the shop looking for things to stick under it. I've already got the combination right here. So the combination ended up being a 4x4 post, a roll of 1-inch masking tape, and a 1/4 inch piece of balsa. That's the winning combination. So we'll go ahead and put that up there. I've got the bubble set at level. Yeah, it's right in there. It's perfect, actually. So now we can go ahead and start the plotting of those two vertical lines that are the invasion stripes are going to go right here. I already measured off where they are. See, this box of invasion stripes is actually going to go all the way around this body on here. So I've been able to plot where the 2 points are. This is the measurement. So it made it roughly to scale with the drawings. It's actually not very roughly, it's actually pretty dang close. So the next step is going to be, we need to plot the lines that come down from here so that I can continue the invasion stripe box. This whole panel is going to start off being painted white, and then we will add the black stripes to it. So the next part of the challenge is we need to make sure that these lines are absolutely perpendicular, because now that we got the plane flying in a level stance here, we need to make these lines perfectly perpendicular up and down. Perfectly is kind of a gray word. I don't know if it's going to be perfect, but it's going to be good enough. It's going to be good enough. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so here we go. I've already put the marks on the tops of the plane, on the tops of the fuselage here, and we basically need to continue those lines straight down to some point here. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to use our old friend gravity. So the trick is, we want to get this lined up with the mark on the top of the fuselage, and then get this thing to stop bouncing down here long enough so that we could get a mark right here. And we'll just kind of scratch that in there. Come on, baby. There we go. Now, we don't really need to worry about the line itself at this point. Okay, so there's a mark down there. Let's go ahead and go to the other side here. I'm going to whip around. I can do this so much easier if I'm using my other hand to do it. Okay. Little plumb bob. This is a piece of twine with a fender washer on it. It has got to stop moving now. Okay, and I've got it to the outside of that line, so then if I put a line right here. Okay, so I put the two marks on there, and the next step is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and pull this plane off the table so that I could use a straight edge to make a line, a lead line, going all the way down to the bottom one, and voila, we will have a perfect setup. I have to do this on the other side as well, because this particular invasion stripe is going to go all the way around the fuselage. It continues, so I'll have to do it on the bottom. I'll connect the points I made here to the points on the other side, and that's basically the way that it's all going to come together, is these lines are all going to be touching each other. I'll use a straight edge to make sure that they're there. But this is how you get a perpendicular line, so you get proper scaleness to it. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but you know, we want to get it as close as we can, and it's going to look great. Trust me. Now let me follow up. I'll also show you some other things. These are, I'm going to introduce these later on in the process, because the first part is I want to get the painting done on it. These are decals that I received from Callie Graphics, and I'll give you some information on how to get a hold of them. They provide all kinds of different scale graphics. They can often, if you have something special that you need, they can often create it, scan it in, and build you a set of decals. But this one here was for the Rosie the Rocketeer setup. I've got the set of decals, that, including the nose art, the stars and bars, and the other nomenclature that's going to be on the airplane. So this one here is going to be sitting right in the middle. I mean, I don't have anything here for you to see it, so use your imagination. Ready? Okay, so this is going to end up sitting right about here, and we'll be setting that into that invasion stripes. It actually hangs over a little bit in the front and is tucked into the back of this particular invasion stripes. So at some point here, we'll be applying these decals. I know a lot of real hardcore scale guys want to use stencils and simply paint everything on. On this one here, I thought, you know, since there's already a pre-made decal set, and this plane is, I've just always wanted to try a set of decals rather than painting it on. So I'm kind of excited to see how this goes. Mark has some experience with this, and he's going to help me with plotting these when it comes time to put them on there. He's going to give me a hand in how to apply them. he says it sticks really well to this Oratech covering now. So kind of excited about that. But I'll go ahead and kind of continue on a little bit here. I've got to do the plotting of the tape and then also go ahead and start putting the paint down on it. This is going to be a white background, and then we'll come back and add the black stripes to it eventually. So I'll go ahead and just let you go for now, but I wanted to catch you up as to what's going on with the Flying King. There'll be more details and stuff like that once I get going on, especially putting the decals on it. And the inside is, for the most part, pretty well done, but there's there's just lots of things still left to do on this plane. It's going to be a great little fun flyer to have. So till next time, I will talk to you later. Woo! How's that go, kitty? Is that all right? Yeah, she's asleep over there.